Good morning, guys. Rickshaw here, and little Mr. Rickshaw. We're out just taking a little tiny morning walk. It is the 11th of November, 2021. It's a Thursday, and we're having a really beautiful morning. That sun is knocking the frost off the pumpkin. It's been cool in the mornings. I was up last night for must have been about 3:30, and came outside for a walk. That's why I still got my shirt on. I came out with just a sando and turned around and got a shirt right away. But my wife, she found me a masseuse here, and not the best one I ever had. We're going to work with him to get him to change a few things and make it better. The first time they do it, I always just let them do their thing. We had a masseuse, I did a video on it in Carmona, and it was a girl from Alabang that would come down. And she unbelievably strong and fantastic back rub. And this guy, he's about the second best. And he's close by, so he could come regular basis. And so that helps out a lot with a lot of things. I'll tell you what, I am sore though. The back's been bad. I left it go too long, and this morning I'm sore. My lower back is extremely sore, but he couldn't crack it, put it back in place. But last night when I was on the bed, if I can get myself, twisted, I don't mean twisted in a circle, I mean bent like a C shape, I was able to thump it back in pretty good. But then I just sort of stayed still all night, and then when I got up about 3:30 this morning, I was just feels like I was rode hard and put away wet. But we'll get her straightened out. At least my leg's not numb. I'm walking, the last few days I've been walking, my leg gets numb, the left leg, and this morning on my walk and now on my walk, my leg's not numb. Feels okay. But yeah, we're having a lot of stuff. Something you guys need to look into there in the States, and you better speak up and say something. There's this bite hole. He went ahead and push these things through anyway, with this jab of the hut. And even no matter what the court said, there's been a temporary hold on it, and he's telling companies just to keep doing it. Well, that's flaunting the laws. Now, if the companies keep doing it, they're flaunting the laws too. This is just ridiculous. And now I see that the only one that they got is the phaser, and the other ones, something happened with them, so now he's going to start buying this stuff from from China. Guys, come on. You gotta wake up. You gotta wake up to this. What's going on? Look at all these kids with it's the Mayo, and then we'll spread some time out, and then say car, and then Ditus. I don't want to say it and get flagged and have my channel shut off. Isn't that sad how we got to be? Got to use quatrains and all this bull crap just so they don't shut you down. They don't want your voice heard. If you go anything against them, anything against what they say, they're going to shut you down, because they're all in the bag. They're all in the bag for these people running the show. And if you don't got that by now, then you're loony. You're really, really loony. But we are having a nice morning, very nice morning. My little handsome buddy.
Hello.
he got to go with me everywhere I go, and I like that. Huh, buddy? Yeah, huh? But not too much. I can't think of too much else going on this morning. Just looking at the news and just shaking my head. I'm going to get whiplash, I tell you. And so many people are just taking it. I watched this thing on Mark Dice the other morning, and he was, he goes on the boardwalk and interviews people. And so many of these people that voted for the bite hole, I call them. It was funny when you look at them. You could spot them as soon as you see them. As soon as you see them, you could say, "Up, that's a Biden supporter." They got this look on them. It's just like I watched a movie one time where the guy said he could tell these Viet Cong, because they all got this same stupid look. And this it's the same thing. I'm seeing the same look on these people. They're like they're dead inside, and they talk about what a wonderful job he's doing. What job? And they said, he was asking one guy, he says, well, what about, his incoherent statements and all this kind of stuff? And the guy was saying, oh, no, I understood every word of it. So, and then you look at Pelosi. She had a major short circuit. Who knows what the heck she was talking about? There's something wrong with these people, guys. When you get people doing stuff like this, and they're supposedly running the show. I don't know. And then if something happens to him, we got the laughing hyena. Man, guys, this is really crazy. If you don't think that last election was taken inappropriately, then you're not thinking. There just can't be that many people that wanted this guy. It just, and he's shot. He's in big trouble, that guy, and it's a shame. This is abuse of an old person. I don't know how he even gets through the day. And then you look at Pelosi, how she manages. I don't know. I really don't know. She's such an old hag. I saw a meme the other day. It was a broom flying through the air, and they said Pelosi got drunk and fell off. But they're just doing as much damage as they can to the country. The money's getting smashed, that's for sure. I hear somebody at the water tank. I'll show you this water tank. I was on with Scott expat in the Philippines, Australian guy, and he didn't know what the water tank was. Had on some old videos, but my wife was talking to the girl up there, and she said the reason why it runs out of water is the guy who turns it on just doesn't show up sometimes. He's supposed to come in here and open the valve. Now the other day he was here, he opened up the valve and he left. And this guy, when you see him, he's got no money. His clothes are always in tatters and crappy. He doesn't come up on anything. He walks in. And if he doesn't show up, the tank runs out. That's why when we have zero water. And the other day when he turned it on, I guess he had to leave. And then when he left, it was coming out the overflow. It was spraying all over the place. So that's not cool. And there's no float in this tank to automatically fill it, like most places. But I don't know. I hear some noise. It might be because they're using water and it's really empty. It sounded hollow again. So we probably won't have water this morning for a hot shower. Let me turn my hand here, man. But that's our tank. It's a pretty small one. And there's the pump house where you open. Oh, too many dogs. But that little pump house right there, they're in there. The door's open. So maybe he's going to turn it on. I don't know where he comes, if he climbs the wall or what. You don't see him too often. But the other day it was just coming out the overflow, and that's really something. But I'm glad he's in there going to turn it on. I told my wife to ask him, show me how to do it. I'll come up here and do it. I don't know what they pay this guy. It don't look like they pay him much because he's, he does. I wished he would have come out. His clothes are all tattered. And like I say, I don't even think he's got a bicycle. He walks in here to do the water. He might even been living in that shack. I don't know. But whatever they pay him, I'll do it. He can do it. He can do it to keep his rice bowl. But if he can't make it, then I'll come and do it. If he ain't here by a certain time, I'll do it, because this is getting really ridiculous. I don't like the idea that we don't have water so many days. And now they're telling us it's all because of him. Now, we don't have the pressure we should, that's for sure. But we have leaks. There's some leaks I've found in these little standpipes, and I told them about it. And you know what happens? They put some black electrical tape over the hole that was in the standpipe. So, you know, that's a repair here. And I don't think they're going to ever do any kind of float in there, because they just don't have the money for what they're buying and what they're selling the water for with the amount of houses in here. But I can see that it's going to get absolutely terrible the more houses they build. You know, it's gonna be bad. I did talk to the neighbor across the street and said he needs to talk to Demeterland, question him about the water. I still personally blame them. This place didn't sell me the house. They did. They sold me the house, so they're the ones that should have made sure that this was good. They should have had a provision for another tank to tie in, maybe come in and put an automatic float, do something. But the guys that work here, they come right out and said they knew in the beginning that there was low water pressure. They've had days where they stopped working because there was no water. You know, and this happens. You know, this is just like when we were in GMA. So it's a shame. We were able to take care of it in GMA by getting another water company. We're going to go straight up to the main street then, though, okay? But, it's a beautiful morning. Little birdies are chirping. You know, the funny thing, when I first come here to the Philippines, it was a year or two before I saw a bird. You didn't see any birds or anything like that. And now I'm seeing lots of little birdies and stuff. We actually saw a bluebird the other day, huh, Maddie? He sure was pretty, wasn't he? But he's not. He kind of like had a blue back and a gray belly, and real pretty bird. Not a blue jay, that's for sure. But just the most beautiful colors. And we get out and do some bird watching, don't we, buddy? Yeah. But we like to get out and just do stuff and walk and let the kids run around the circle, get their energies out. They sleep good at night. That's one thing about my kids. When they go up to bed, they're out. They fall right asleep, and I'm pretty happy about that. Let's go on this one, buddy. Oh, there, I love that house. They're still working on it. It's kind of like slowing down. That one up by us on the corner, that's for sale. I don't know what that is. I should probably call and find out the price and let you guys know what the price is. Somebody sent me a thing on there that, you know, that'd be a nice place to get if it wasn't for the water. And that's something they should really take care of, but I don't think they care because they got all the houses sold already. You know, what do they care? And everybody, you know, folks tell me, oh, dig a well. No, you can't dig a well here. Oh, well, you do this and do that. No, the house is done already. I'm not going to start ripping the house apart to fix something that should have been, I should have been disclosed in the beginning. But it's our water tank way over there. Hey, buddy. Beautiful, beautiful day. They got a nice dog in here, but yeah, he's not up this morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Yeah, this is just nice. Now I'm starting to heat up though with this shirt. Starting to get a little bit sweaty. It gets warm here real quick. It doesn't matter how cool it gets at night. I remember when I was up in the high desert, you had to watch out for ice going to work in the morning when I was on the bike, and just around my house puddles would get frozen, and then by 10 o'clock you were sweating with the oldies. But here is starting to do that right now. These mornings have been real cool. A lot of dew. You know, when it doesn't rain here, everything gets plenty of water because it's wet. You walk in that grass, you're going to get soaked. Now we haven't seen now for quite a while any snakes, huh, buddy? Mm-hmm. Or any big lizards. Not even too many frogs. When we went out on the late night motorcycle ride one night, Maddie and I must have counted about 30 of them. They're like a brown frog. And the other night when we were out, not a one. You know, we got to watch hitting them. I remember one time we were driving through. My brother had a brand new Chevy Malibu, and two-door, nice car, brand spanking new. And he was taking we were going on a breaking cruise, and we were going through West Virginia, through these twisty roads there, and there were thousands of frogs. And when we got out to eat, the car just had frog goo all over it. I mean, the whole underside was covered. You couldn't miss them. There was just so many of them. And his brand new buggy, it had cow splashings all over the side, and it was sticky. I was trying to spray it off. Didn't want to come off. Had to get a professional cleaner to come in there and clean it up. But not so bad like that here. But little buddy, you gonna be king of the mountain? Mm-hmm. Okay. Watch my king of the mountain. Woohoo! That's my boy. We were watching, started to watch a movie the other night, but some of the movies aren't so good. Our first time, our Wi-Fi was out for about an hour and a half. It just, boom, shut off. So I still had the Dito SIM card. I buy a whole month of that, so was able to put stuff on the TV through that with the screen mirroring, which is kind of nice. I did see a thing that'll keep your Wi-Fi operating with the battery pack, so I was looking into that. We got our one of our Lazada orders. They canceled it, and they're funny why they cancel it. They'll give you 5 different reasons for cancellation, and one of them's the package was damaged. Another one's that the customer canceled or non-deliverable, and they give you all these options, but they don't tell you which one it is. So I don't know what happened. Maybe it got crushed or something, but they showed that it was in our area at our local thing, and then boom, it was canceled again. And that's starting to get more and more. Some of these delivery companies are just, I don't know what's happening with them, but crazy stuff. But we went ahead and I ordered a wall fan for the living room, the quiet model. I actually had a buddy who bought one of these, and he said you can't hear it. He goes, it's the quietest fan. It puts out a lot of good air. And it also had a pull string for the oscillator instead of having to push the button on top. And he said he bought it. He said, I've had it for about 1.5 years, and it's just a great fan. And so I looked it up and found it on Lazada. Another thing, somebody was telling me that you can get these, I think it was butterball turkeys on Lazada. Guy lives in Nyack, and that's a lot closer to where it's coming from, because they said they wouldn't deliver to us, and I'd have paid for it. It was $60, I think, but for once a year, I'd have paid $60, so I could have got the kids a Thanksgiving Day dinner. The turkeys here that they sell, they got a lot of people have turkeys, and then they'll sell them, but they're horrible. I got one time. I want the one that says Butterball on it. I do my turkey hunting inside the grocery store. But I hunted turkey when I was young, and I thought, well, okay, I'm gonna do some turkey hunting. And I went out, got a nice big gobbler. He come out from around the tree, and I took his head off, and then we went ahead and cleaned him up and all that stuff, and I cooked him. It was miserable. The wild ones are just, they're not good. So that was the last time I turkey hunted, because if I'm not going to eat it, I'm not going to hunt it, And somebody said, oh, well, go ahead and hunt them and give them to somebody. But turkeys do a lot of good in the woods. They eat a lot of the grubs, and it's amazing when they go through the woods. I was actually sitting in a blind one time when a big patch of them came through, and they just tear the ground up, and they eat all those little grubs. Good morning. But yeah, I never was one to hunt something I wasn't going to eat. That's why I like to hunt deer, Now I did hunt, I never ate a fox, but I did go fox hunting because I enjoyed that. And raccoon, but we ate them too. And we also had there was an old black fellow in town, and you know, he liked it. He just loved to eat the raccoon, so we'd always bring him some. And he didn't have much money. He was getting just a few $100s a month. He lived in an old shack, and it was a royal shame. And he was all bent over. He had worked in the coal mines, and I'm not kidding you, he was bent straight over at the hip where his back was horizontal, and that's how he got around. He was a real old guy. One time I asked him how old he was. He said he was 98, and still getting around, but he'd been crooked like that for so many years, and he didn't have enough time in the mine to get a pension. He had some kind of disability, but it was a super low amount. But one of the nicest guys you would ever meet. I went over there and did some work in his house, because when I went to visit him one time, most of his electrical was not working, and it was all the old knob and tube. Somebody had come in and added stuff, and knob and tube is a really good system until you start tapping into it, and then you've got troubles. So I went over there and I just thought, you know what, he's a real nice fella. He don't have a lot. I talked to some of my suppliers and told them what was going on, and they gave me bales of wire, they gave me boxes, and I did the work, and I just rewired his whole little house for him. And we did some other stuff, fixed some windows, and that was one of my construction buddies that he was a window guy, and we had a friend that worked at a window factory. We got the windows for free. We went in there and put Wallman. We fixed it. We fixed his house up, and just a super nice guy. And when we were all done, we were in there for about 4 days. And when we were all done, the old guy, he was crying. He couldn't believe it. And he'd been a widower for 40 years, and always used to go up and visit him. He was real close to where I lived, and don't know what happened to him. One day he just wasn't at the house. I asked the ambulance people if they took him, and they said no, he just was gone. And then a year later, somebody said, oh, his daughter came from out of state and took him. So, but the house sat empty, and finally the city tore it down. So he hadn't paid his taxes in, my goodness, in like so many years. And the taxes there, when I was living there, my taxes were only 100 and something a year there in that little old place, because we homesteaded, and his was homesteaded too. But it was all fixed up and nice. It was like more like a cabin than a house. It was a big open area. But, his bedroom had a curtain around it. Same with the bathroom, and like a big kitchen area and place to sit. But and square, I think it was probably about 30 by 30 square, I would say. And one story, the basement was only in the center of the house.
I can eat ice cream?
No, not till breakfast. No ice cream, bub. But and he had his furnace was an old coal furnace. The old guy was, shoveling coal all the time just to keep warm. A lot of people in that area. There was one little old lady who lived there by herself, way up in her 90s, and she lived in a little 10 by 50 trailer, and they had shut off her gas for non-payment, and nobody went up there, and they found her frozen solid. Nobody had seen her out. There was a bar. It was like a 5 Points road, and there was a bar across the way from her, and they said they hadn't seen her out. And she raised dogs to make some money, and they were more mad about the dogs. Nobody said anything about her. They said something about the dogs, and so they went over, were feeding the dogs, and then the police went in the trailer and found her frozen solid, which was a bummer. Same like the thing with Fauci. Everybody's letting him go. They're not making a big fuss about the little kids he did in, and all this stuff he's been doing. But then as soon as they find out about the dog testing, everybody's up in arms. I guess we should all turn into dogs, and maybe something will get done here. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And this is, well, I guess John here with my massage parlor. We'll see you guys.